Hey everybody, it's your host Amber on another episode of Behind Her Boom podcast, coming to you today with a very special guest. She is a mama, not of one or two, but of five, which just that's enough right there. It inspires me enough. The fact that she is as successful as she is a beauty influencer. She is doing such an incredible, job. And when it comes to the world on social media, she's sharing her beauty, her makeup tips, and all those fantastic things. But when you can balance that along the side of having almost a half a dozen kids, I think she is winning in life no matter what. So I have Chelsea Pearson on here with me. She is with a company called Saint, which is an incredible makeup company. If you guys haven't tried it, you need to check it out. If you have and you're sort of new in the business, then you need to be following and watching and learning from the best. And I couldn't be more happy to have Chelsea Pearson on here. So Chelsea, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Everybody, it's your host, Amber here, MLM strategist and entrepreneur who has worked with thousands of network marketers and influencers and entrepreneurs in your space, helping to brand them, systemize them, and grow their downline on a global level. Creative director with AK Social House and your host of the Behind Her Boom podcast, providing you with proven, simple, and actionable steps to build your authority and your brand so you can stand out from those sideline sisters, inspiring you with our special guest to think big and grow to 7 figures and beyond. Let's go. So tell us a little bit about sort of your backstory and I'm always intrigued to see how people get into this when I see that there's, hundreds of thousands of followers, and some of your reels have gone so viral and there's just so much out there. And I think that we're in a pretty tough, busy market where we could say it's saturated or not, but you're definitely up against a lot of other influencers out there. So when did you start all of these? Share your journey with us.
Yeah, so back actually in 2016, I was on the hunt to find a good makeup for my clients. I've been an esthetician for over 21 years, and I'm busy. I'm a busy mom. And so I wanted to find something that was going to be organized and affordable, but also really good on the skin. I know with being an esthetician and going to spa shows and all those things and learning the trainings that cream makeup was kind of the way to go. So I was actually on the hunt to find a cream makeup for my clients. And that was end of 2016. And then in early 2017 is when I had seen the Pinterest of the makeup, and I thought, oh my gosh, that little palette can do that. I was so impressed. I was blown away. And then I had a friend call me, and then she's like, Chelsea, this is something that you can do. And I was sold, honestly, at that moment. And that's how I started with Saint. I was actually searching for makeup. So
right. Well, now when you were searching for and when you started, was it more so to just focus on the products itself being able to give it to your clients? Or were you actually thinking, wow, this is also a business model that I could potentially grow it into something?
I had known network marketing. I had dipped my toes in it since 2008. So a really long time. Did I know much about network marketing in 2008? No, I think I found out more about kind of the business model in 2013. So when this was, kind of presented to me as the business side of it, I thought, this is amazing. I don't have to stock inventory. I can match my clients and it ships right to their door, which is for, an esthetician who's solo kind of on her own to, stock product can be pretty expensive. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I was super excited about.
That's awesome. So, okay. So taking us back now into 2019 is when you joined Saint? 2017. So taking us back there, what was your presence like on social media? You're an esthetician. Did you have, a presence online, or were you just kind of building solo, like a brick and mortar type of deal? What was kind of going on back then?
So, actually before I even had the phone call, literally 2 hours before I had the phone call from a friend telling me about Saint, I had created an Instagram page for beauty. Like literally, I was like, you know what? I'm a mom to 4 girls. I'm just going to have a page and I'm going to share my beauty finds on this page. And so I had 0 followers days before I signed. I had absolutely 0 followers. So that was my online presence for Instagram. I had been on Facebook, sharing kind of my life and my personal things, but I did not have an online presence then. No.
No. Okay, so then fast forwarding to today, what is your following like today? Where are we at?
As far as count wise,
Count wise, momentum, what's going on there, so people can actually see the difference between
yeah.
and now, and also to know to take that path. What does it take to get there?
Yeah.
Consistency, showing up, time.
I will say I didn't take my Instagram serious, but I was sharing. Okay. So serious as mean as consistency. I mean, there wasn't reels. Okay. There wasn't
Yeah.
reels then. There wasn't even stories. Story wasn't even a thing on Instagram. So it was
It was
all
just put up a
pictures.
post and hope for the best.
Yes, it was all pictures. And when new things released, I took on it. You know, I tried out stories, and so I went 4 years without getting a sale on social media through Instagram. All of it was in person. So 4 years of consistently, as far as posting, right?
Right.
And but I will say, when Reels released, I definitely hopped on that train, and I thought, let's just see how this goes. And I loved Reels. I was really creative. If you go back on my page, it was very different than what it is. I shared kind of running a business and mom life. And then I switched it. I decided to switch gears in 2021. January 2021, I decided to switch gears, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to be a makeup page. I want to be a makeup page, and I want to share makeup. And so that is when I saw the difference in my following count. My obviously people submitting color matches online really went up 4 months after I decided that. So it was April of 2021 that I saw sales generating coming in, because I decided that's what I wanted my page to be.
Yeah, making a shift. I think it's really important. And how important do you think it is, like, for people to really nail down and find their niche and post to a specific audience, right? Because it is quite generic if you're going to show like the mom life, the entrepreneur life, and then the makeup life and all of those things. A lot of people kind of get overwhelmed or confused of what shall I post? Do I need another page because I'm going to offer something else? So when you made that shift over to just be makeup, like, how important do you think it is for new people that are coming in to really nail down and find their niche to focus on?
You know, I do think you need to know who you're speaking to. It does need to be clear, but I also think I wouldn't stress about it, because when I would teach my team social media, I would say, you know, when they're trying to niche down, I said, well, makeup can be a niche, where they were thinking makeup's not one of their pillars, but it is, if it is a part of them. But I think it's important to kind of feel like, one, get out of your comfort zone. If something is uncomfortable, I think you should try it. Two, it doesn't have to be just one thing that you share. If you like sharing multiple things, I think social media has shifted from 2021 to 2024, where people do kind of want to see little different videos. So really just kind of pay attention to what's working for you and your page. And if you have one reel that doesn't do well, it doesn't mean another one's not. Like, for instance, when I started doing reels, it took a while. I mean, let's see, when did they release? Fall of 2020, I believe. I think it was like fall of 2020.
Yeah, kind of like the end of 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, where I mean, I was at 10,000 followers by the end of 2020. Okay. By 2021, end of 2021, with reels, being consistent with reels and posting, I think I was at like maybe 80,000 followers. So it showed the difference of what reels can do for you. But they've changed. So really paying attention to kind of the change of what your audience likes to see. It's changed. So right now it's like, I can elaborate on it. Right now, I think people do like, they want, it's either relatable, right? Something relatable to them.
Yeah.
Every piece of content does not have to be relatable, right? And if you notice my page is probably not all relatable. My page is more of like, is this a tip I can save and share? So kind of figuring out your page that way, because both of them can do really well. A relatable post, and then something that's like, hey, I want to save that. I could totally do that. I want to use that. Oh my gosh, that's so helpful. Type of reels that you can focus on that people are going to want to watch.
I think that's actually such a great point, because I'm always, dropping tips to tell people, give value, lead with value. Don't lead with the sale. Don't lead with the with the, new product offer or whatnot, because it's really hard for people to get excited over a sale on a 2-for-1 or a 20% off when they've never tried the product or they don't really know about the product. So leading with value, but I think that's also such a great tip to not just lead with value, but lead with some sort of content that they can actually click that save button to want to go back to it. And I think that's what really helps the algorithm and the flow of everything just to expand even so much more. And to really watch, your analytics and see what, your audience likes versus are they really that engaged in that recent post? No. Okay. No worries. Just, step it up and not post something like that for the next time, right? To keep the consistency on what they actually like.
Yeah. And to go along with that, I think it's important also to note, if you were not making a commission off this, how would you present it? Right? If your friend already has it, let's just say she already has it, how would you present that to her in a real form? So be like, okay, she has this product. Maybe she doesn't know how to use it because that's brand new. Show how to use it regardless of the outcome. Show how to use the product so that someone can say, oh, I might not have that product, but let me try to use mine this way. Let's see how it turns out. Eventually, it's going to have an effect to where people are going to be like, mine's just not working the same. I'm going to try hers.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're going to come back to you versus somebody else because you're continuously providing that value in the tutorials and things like that they need. So yeah. I think I would call it like needs-based real posting versus just posting randomness. Post something that, that people actually need. So getting into you building your teams and things like that, have you focused more so on the product side of things? Because your social media is all about providing tutorials and tips and things like that. Mm-hmm. Have you focused much on actually building a team and coaching and mentoring and things like that? And if you do, what are some of the top tips that you give kind of new people getting into social media?
So when I first signed with Saint, absolutely, I was all about team building. I wanted every female to not only have this product, but to share it with others and make money. Because I think that the trend that I saw 8 years ago was online sales. I saw that trend 8 years ago. I thought, gosh, and that was because me being an esthetician, they thought the convenience of buying something online and shipping to the door was a big deal to a lot of women. Like for me, it's awesome when I don't have to go to the store to get something that it can ship to me. And I saw that trend really increasing. And I thought, how great for moms. For me, I was able to take off more time from the salon and be at home to work. I wanted more moms to have that opportunity. So yeah, I did focus on the team building. I absolutely love mentorship. I love mindset. I love being a biggest cheerleader for the team. Once my social media took off, it did feel like it kind of was more sales focused. So I was doing both. I was doing kind of the team building and sales. I was really doing both once my Instagram page took off.
Yeah. I think you do need to find the balance between both of them, especially when it comes to the scalability of the network marketing space. Because I do talk to a lot of people where they're like, oh, I'm not interested in building a team. I just focus on the products, or I'm just business driven. I'm all about the opportunity. But I think you need to find a fine balance, because you do need to love the product for one, but then you need to also love people to be able to really grow and scale and see, the compensation plan per se of what's actually available to you. Kind of getting into the focus around balance, life, business, kids, being a mom of 5 kids. How are you finding balance in growing such a phenomenal business and being such an influence to so many people, and then also raising all these beautiful girls? It's all girls, or you have one boy?
One boy, yeah.
You got one boy. Finally, yeah. Your husband must be like, yeah, score.
4 girls and a boy. Yep.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, how are you finding balance between all that? And how do you have people reach out to you to say, like, how the heck do you do that? Because I love when somebody's like, I'm too busy to do anything. I have a new baby at home. I'm like, oh, honey, that's like vacation with your new baby.
Yeah. You might be sleep deprived, but girlfriend, you can do it.
Yeah.
So my youngest was 2. when I, started it. So I was very busy and then had a baby in the process of still running this business. So not only was I in the salon, but running an online business, I was running a household. And I think, just like in your business, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's just kind of how it's going to be also within your household running a business. If you are not planned within the household and have the schedule set, what is so helpful for me is my husband. He is a very hands-on husband, and he knows when I have the end of the month, like today, when it's the end of the month or the first of the month, things are a little crazy. And my family knows that. I set reminders. Mom's going to be so busy today and tomorrow. So I want you to have a heads up. So it's just really involving your family is a big deal. Or I'll have my goals on my calendar in my office. And so my girls can see that and they see me marking it off. And it's so fun that they also become mom's cheerleader, what I'm working for, because they know that what I'm doing is really for the benefit of my family. And there are some things that I won't sacrifice though. So, my kids play golf. They have golf practice. Sometimes I shut off the phone and shut off the computer and I enjoy my family, and I want my family to know that they have me and my time in those moments as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, when you talk about sticking to the schedule, I find this is like, it's like do or die pretty much. Like if you don't stick to the schedule, everything is a mess, from the business side to the household, to the family, to the chores. Everything is just complete chaos. I'm always telling people to stick to a schedule and time block. Are you a time blocker? Like I time block everything.
Well, I do have my calendar, which helps, but I don't necessarily put in there my tasks. I used to. Like honestly, I really did used to time block. I've tried to find a way that works for me in my season. Since my children are such a different age, and things change. So I feel that even the way I schedule things changes, and I try to navigate what's working best for our family at the time. But yes, there is always a schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. There has to be a schedule. Yeah. I suppose if you've got your kids more in like school age and you're not running around with toddlers and babies, it is a lot different. You're not trying to squeeze in calls during nap time and things like that. So
Correct. Yeah.
it does get easier, moms. I will say that. I mean, my two are both in school, well, in preschool and school, but I've made it a point last year was like after school programs and this and that. And the days were so long because I was so busy with the business that I would see them for like an hour pretty much at the end of the day. So come into the new year, I really made it a point to say I need to be more heavily involved, and kind of the same what you said about really just being intentional and hands-on and shutting off the phone in those moments. And that's super hard and challenging when you're running a team and you're running staff and a business to say, I'm going to just pause or maybe just put it in silent mode. But I put my daughter in dance, I put my son in competitive soccer, and I thought these are the moments that I'm going to be all in. If it's an hour out of my day to be all in. Like, who can't do that? And if I can't do that, then what the hell am I building this business for if I can't give an hour, of uninterrupted time to my family? So I think it's so important to find that balance.
And even like communicating to your family, it's important to communicate to your team. Even like setting this call up, like my daughter has an appointment, so this is how it's going to work. And it's like just having that boundary. And I think a lot of times people come into network marketing and they don't have boundaries. And so the team building aspect of it might be a little where they don't like it. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if they set a boundary and their team knows their schedule, like for instance, I'm going on vacation, I'm going to be checking out for a week. If it's urgent, you can message this or message who or whatever it may be, but like setting those boundaries and being very intentional with your time, I think they respect you so much more. And they also think, wow, maybe I can be a leader like them because I also can spend time with my family, right? So really having those boundaries is important for you, but it's also important for women to see that as well, that they can too.
Yeah, I agree to that because I think there's so many people that get into network marketing and they're so excited when they get that first person to join the business or two or three that they are available for them 24/7. I mean, when somebody joins, you don't want the momentum to die and they have a million and one questions. So they're constantly like right there, at their fingertips. But I think in turn, it's also setting your new network marketer up to fail because you're really allowing them to just jump into this more employer-employee mindset. sorry, I didn't just hire you, you didn't join the job, and I'm not your boss. It's
Yes.
trying to teach them of the entrepreneurial way of make your decisions for yourself, set your schedule, show up when you want to show up, figure your shit out, and just go
Yes.
and do the do. So I think it's so big to find that balance, but you're absolutely right. I mean, we've had to reschedule a couple of times just to get on this call. And then we were hopping in at 10. My daughter had a special appointment. I'm thinking, I'm 30 minutes out just to get back here. And then as I'm driving, I'm like, I'm saying I'm going to arrive at 9:37. I just have to drop her off at the school and run back home, throw some dry shampoo in my hair. We can make it happen. We made it happen.
Yeah.
Minutes late. But that's what you do in this line of business. And I also just run really well off of adrenaline and speed. And I always say success like speed. And the faster you go, the quicker that you'll get to the goals that you want to get to.
Yeah. And the faster you go doesn't necessarily mean, all day long, 16-hour days.
Yeah.
That could be the 2 hours of intention you're putting into your business. Like you're talking about time blocking. So it's possible to, I had a goal when I first signed up with Saint that I wanted 100 team members. I had signed up in February. I wanted 100 team members by December. And guess what? I had 100 team members by December, but I didn't feel burnt out when I got there. And I think because when you do have a goal and it's set in mind and it's in front of your face and you say, I only have this time, I honestly think busier people are more successful because they manage their time better, because they know I only got 2 hours to get this done. I better get it done. And I think that's really important for people to know that it's like, if you get for instance, when your practice is with your son, mark yourself out and know that you have to get certain amount of things done before the practice. And one, it's going to help your stress level. And two, you're going to have that time with your family because you just got your business stuff done.
Yeah. And you'll feel so much better about it versus going through the time and not checking things off. And then all of a sudden sitting down at the game and thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't do this. I didn't call that. And now your head is just cluttered with all these to-dos. And before you know it, the game's like, half done. And they're just like, Mom, did you see me score? I'm like, yeah, I did. And so it's crazy. You have to time block and you have to figure it out. But I would 100% agree to you that busy people are more successful because they are intentional with every moment. I know when I hop on calls or I meet with other entrepreneurs and I'm given 15 minutes of their time or 30 minutes, or even you and I hopping in, knowing to get 30 minutes of your time with the schedule that you have, it's so much more respect for that person, and also knowing that you can do it too, right? You can for sure have that. But those people that don't have a full schedule and sit back and they're trying to just kind of work at the business when they feel like it, can just go check an episode of Netflix. I mean, I haven't turned the TV on in like 2 years. I actually just turned it on last night and it's I need to log back in. I'm like, how long have I not had Disney and Hulu? I was like, probably 6 months, but nobody seemed to notice. So whatever.
Same here.
Right? There's no time for that. And, I think it's just being intentional, but you can have it all. You can have the success, you can grow the business, you can be with the family and be hands-on in there. And I think I know for me, I come to a point where I look back and I look at my schedule to see what are the things that I'm doing that are not producing income or helping me kind of move the needle forward and that are not actually serving my family in a real high level. And if it's things like, you know what, it's taking me an hour every day to do laundry, fold clothes. It's taking me another hour every day to make meals. Those are things that I ask myself, do I want to do that? I'm not a cook. I'm not that person that can sit in front of a kitchen and be creative and make these amazing meals. My kids never like it. They end up crying and mac and cheese, right? I'll go all out to do and make some great stuff. And they're like, gross, can we just have chicken nuggets? So I cut that out. And now we have a chef guy that comes every second day with a bag on our doorstep with meals. And it's a godsend, honestly. Some people, when we first looked at it, my husband was like, we don't need that. I'm like, well, we need that. And now it's like, oh, I'm so bored of the food. I'm like, are you bored of the food or do you want Chick-fil-A? You decide, because you have steak and rice and veggies and all your food. So it's one less thing that I need to stress about, that my family is fed, but they're fed with healthy foods and they're not just eating Chick-fil-A mac and cheese and blowing up in size. And, and I know that things are happening. So I also encourage people to look at what is going on in your life that you could eliminate that aren't really helping move the needle forward. And can you, or do you have the ability financially and things like that to actually make a shift? I talk to a lot of leaders where they're kind of in that breaking point of like, do I need a VA or do I not? Am I making enough to invest in a VA that's going to allow me to offload myself with all these other little tasks? And will I use that time to actually focus in on more income producing activities? Or is the VA just kind of like doing things for me so I don't have to and I can sit back and they're just eating up my paycheck? So
Yeah.
the questions that you need to ask yourself, right? When you're in that kind of growth phase.
Yeah. I actually remember a long, long time ago, Shalene Johnson. I don't know if you follow her or not, but I remember her talk. She has built several, multi-million-dollar businesses. And I remember her talking about hiring out help if you have the means. She realized that doing an hour of laundry was not suiting her income producing activities. And so that was the first thing that she had hired out, was someone to do her laundry so she could do other things. Now, can you build a successful business without hiring out? Yes, you can. And I am proof of that, because I have hired VAs and I have hired a company in the past to run my business. And what I did love about that was it showed me like how to run that side of my business that I wasn't managing well. So in that short period of time, I learned so much of what I could be doing in my business, and is it possible for me to do it? And just don't be afraid to say no to things, so that you can have more yeses for things that are going to propel your business forward.
Oh, absolutely. I love that you actually just tapped in on that, because I had another podcast with Danielle on the Daily, super influential, great conversations. And that's one of her biggest things is saying no to things. Like, just if it's not like a hard yes, then it's a no. And it really comes down to not being afraid to like offend somebody, hurt somebody's feelings. I got a lot of mom friends that, they work 9 to 5, like a nurse, one's in the office. So they don't live that high stress, go type of role that I'm playing in this household. So they don't really understand the fact that, like, hey, if I'm taking 30 minutes to just jump on a quick lunch with you, it's 30 minutes of like time where I could be doing so many million other things in my head spinning, but I'm going to enjoy this cocktail, things like that. Right. Yeah. So I do think it's a hard thing to do, because we want to make everybody happy and not say no. But I've had to learn that, and maybe it hurts some people's feelings, but they also just kind of know where I'm at in my space. And I just let them know this is a season for me that is absolute chaos. I might be able to meet you for a coffee. If not, I'm going to send you a voice note, give you your love. I'll see when I can see you, sort of thing. Like, I always make time to talk to my mom. My husband will be like, you don't have time. Like, are you really talking to your mom? I'm like, I always find time to talk to my mom. It's in the car when I'm driving between my drop offs. That's my mom time. Don't mess with me. I'm talking to my mom. And then he'll be like, you can listen to podcasts when you're driving. That, like, well, this is a 10-minute drive. So I like the 30-minute drives to listen to my podcast. The 10-minute drives is to catch up with my mom.
Exactly. See, we figure it out.
Yeah, we figure it out. I think if you put a lot of men in those situations, their head would spin for sure. They can't handle it. Even I have such a smooth transition of dropping my daughter to dance at 4:30, bringing my son to soccer, coming back to watch her for the last 30 minutes. And then her and I go to watch the last 30 minutes of soccer. So I get to see both, but there's a crazy transition in there. And then the parents all know, so that they're there in case my kid needs to go pee and I'm not there. But there's like one day where I'm like, hubby, I have a call, kind of like I'm double booked. Do you think you can manage this? And he's like, manage what? Where am I going? Who am I? I'm like, never mind. A kid's going to be left somewhere. I can't deal with it.
Yes.
No. Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like we could tap into so many things, but I appreciate you taking the time. And I know it's month end, which is super crazy for network marketers out there. Never talk to network marketers at month end unless there's a sale and you want to help them top up what it is that they're going for. So I appreciate you so much coming on here and sharing your story and your journey with us. Where are we seeing Chelsea, in the near future? What do you sort of see that's in store for you? And where can people find you?
I'm still going to be on my Instagram page. I love it over there. I tailored in on helping women over the age of 40, because that's me. That's where I'm at, over 40, and our skin is ever changing, and our bodies and our minds and all those things. I'm on Instagram, chelsea.k.pearson. And I see myself still, honestly, helping women with their makeup. I love it. It's such a passion of mine. I think one of the things that really I truly love is allowing makeup to be that segue for women to see themselves as beautiful. A lot of times we lose ourselves in motherhood, and we are running around and sometimes completely ragged. And we think, oh my gosh, I look so terrible. And so one of my mottos is you deserve a moment to feel beautiful. And I think just a segue into that is makeup, because women are beautiful without makeup, but when we put on that makeup and we feel beautiful, we feel confident, we do good. We do so much more good in the world when we feel good. And so that's my mission.
I love that. When you feel good, you do good. When you do good, you're just inspiring so many more to go out there and do the same. And it takes 5 minutes. I mean, come on, your palette literally takes what, 3 or 4 minutes, and you get glowing skin. I always feel like I need a ring light anytime I talk to a Saint artist. I need a ring light. Saint artist coming on, their faces are glowing.
You look beautiful.
Well, that's because that's what I've used. I've always used Saint. Monate on the hair, Saint on the skin. I love it all. I'm just a big believer in the entire industry. So we'll make sure that you guys are following her. I will also put her details so that you can follow and catch up with Chelsea. Follow along for all of her tips and her amazing tricks, and make sure that you're saving those so you can go back and do them yourself. And I appreciate you so much, Chelsea. Thank you again. And until next time, you guys, this is your host, Amber, on Behind Her Boom podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.
Thank you.